Imagine if you could change your whole life just by changing your thoughts. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Neville Goddard taught, and his ideas have been helping people create amazing changes in their lives for decades. Goddard wasn't just talking about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. He had a whole system for using the power of your mind to shape your reality. And the best part? Anyone can do it. You don't need special skills or lots of money. All you need is your imagination and the willingness to try something new. But here's the thing. If you don't understand how your beliefs are shaping your world right now, you might keep running into the same problems over and over again. It's like being stuck in a maze where you keep taking the same wrong turns. Learning Goddard's methods means you have to face some hard truths about yourself and how you've been thinking. That can be tough. It might mean admitting that some of your problems come from your own thoughts and not just from bad luck or other people. But once you get it, once you really understand how your mind affects your reality, it's like finding a map out of that maze. Suddenly, you can see new paths and possibilities you never noticed before. Now you might be wondering, who was this Neville Goddard guy anyway? Let's talk about that. Neville Goddard wasn't your typical spiritual teacher. Born in 1905 in Barbados, he came to the United States as a young man to study theater. But his life took a different turn when he started exploring spiritual ideas. Goddard became known for his powerful speeches and books about the connection between imagination and reality. What made Goddard's teachings special was how practical they were. He didn't just talk about vague spiritual concepts. Instead, he gave people specific techniques they could use to change their lives. His main idea was simple but powerful. Your imagination creates your reality. Goddard believed that the world you see around you is a reflection of your inner thoughts and beliefs. Change those, and you change your world. Goddard's ideas might sound a bit out there at first, but they're based on some deep truths about how our minds work. Scientists now know that our brains are incredibly flexible. They can change and grow throughout our lives. This ability is called neuroplasticity. In a way, Goddard was teaching people how to use this brain flexibility to reshape their lives. Even though Goddard taught these ideas decades ago, they're still super relevant today. In fact, you might have heard of some similar concepts in modern self-help books or motivational speeches. Ideas like visualization, affirmations, and the law of attraction all have roots in the kind of thinking Goddard was teaching. But Goddard's approach was unique. He didn't just tell people to think positive thoughts and hope for the best. He taught a whole system for using your imagination in a focused, powerful way. It's like the difference between splashing around in a pool and learning to swim with good technique. Both might be fun, but one is much more effective if you want to get somewhere. So, what exactly did Goddard teach? At the heart of his ideas is this big concept. Your imagination creates your reality. Now that might sound like something out of a fantasy story, but Goddard meant it in a very real, practical way. Here's how it works. Everything you experience in the world, according to Goddard, starts as an idea in your mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and especially the things you imagine vividly shape the events and circumstances of your life. It's not that thinking about something once will make it magically appear. Instead, it's more like planting a seed. The thoughts and images you focus on regularly are like seeds you're planting in your mind. Give them enough attention and emotional energy, and they'll grow into real experiences in your life. Let's break this down with a simple example. Imagine two people who both want a promotion at work. The first person constantly worries about not being good enough. They imagine all the ways they might fail or be rejected. The second person using Goddard's techniques, imagines themselves already having the promotion. They feel what it's like to sit in that new office, to have that new title, to do that new job. According to Goddard, these two people are likely to have very different experiences. The first person, focused on failure and doubt, might unconsciously sabotage themselves or miss opportunities. The second person, feeling confident and capable, is more likely to notice and seize opportunities that could lead to the promotion. This isn't just about jobs, though. Goddard taught that this principle applies to every area of life: relationships, health, personal growth, you name it. Whatever you consistently imagine and feel as real will tend to become your reality. Now you might be thinking, but I've imagined good things before, and they didn't happen. That's where the rest of Goddard's teachings come in. He didn't just say, imagine good stuff, and it'll happen. He taught specific techniques for using your imagination effectively. These techniques help you not just think about what you want, but really feel it as if it's already happened. This is a key point in Goddard's teaching. It's not enough to just think about what you want or to wish for it. You need to imagine it so vividly that it feels real to you. When you can do that, Goddard said, you start to change on a deep level. Your actions, your decisions, even the opportunities you notice and take advantage of, all start to align with that imagined reality. It's important to understand that Goddard wasn't talking about some kind of magic. He was talking about a profound way of working with your own mind. When you change your deep-seated beliefs and expectations, you change how you interact with the world. And when you change how you interact with the world, you change what you experience in the world. This idea connects to a lot of modern psychology too. We now know that our beliefs and expectations have a huge impact on our experiences. It's called the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're going to fail, you're more likely to fail. If you believe you're going to succeed, you're more likely to succeed. Goddard's teachings are like a practical guide for using this psychological principle to your advantage. But Goddard took it even further. He didn't just say that positive thinking leads to positive results. He taught that your imagination, when used in specific ways, could actually shape the events and circumstances of your life. It's like having a superpower, but one that takes practice and focus to use effectively. This is why Goddard's ideas are still so popular today. They offer a way to take control of your life that goes beyond just trying to think positively. They give you a set of tools for actively shaping your reality. It's empowering, but it also comes with responsibility. If your imagination shapes your reality, then you're responsible for what you choose to imagine and believe. Now that we understand the core of Goddard's teaching, let's dive into one of his most powerful techniques, feeling it real. This isn't just about positive thinking or daydreaming, it's about using your imagination in a way that actually changes how you feel and act. When Goddard talked about feeling it real, he meant imagining what you want so vividly that it feels like it's already happened. It's like creating a movie in your mind, but one where you're not just watching, you're fully experiencing it with all your senses. Let's say you want a new job. Instead of just thinking, I want a new job, you'd imagine yourself already in that job. What does your new office look like? What does it smell like? How does your new chair feel? What are you wearing? Who are you talking to? The more details you can imagine, the better. But here's the really important part. You need to feel the emotions that go with having that job. Feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. Feel the pride of succeeding in your new role. Feel the relief of having a better income. These feelings are key because they're what make the imaginary scene feel real to your mind. Why is this so important? Because your mind doesn't always know the difference between what you're vividly imagining and what's really happening. When you imagine something in great detail, especially with strong emotion, your brain starts to believe it's real. This belief can change how you think and act in ways that help make that imagined scene a reality. Here's a simple exercise you can try. Pick something you want to achieve. Close your eyes and imagine it's already happened. Use all your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, touch? How do you feel emotionally? Spend a few minutes really living in this imaginary scene. Try to do this every day, always imagining from the perspective that it's already happened. This technique is powerful because it starts to shift your beliefs and expectations. When you regularly imagine yourself succeeding, you start to believe you can succeed. This belief changes how you act. You might notice opportunities you would have missed before. You might feel more confident in taking risks or trying new things. All of these small changes can add up to big results in your real life. The next key concept in Goddard's teachings is what he called living from the end. This idea takes feeling it real to the next level. Instead of just imagining your goal for a few minutes a day, you try to live as if you've already achieved it. Living from the end means thinking, feeling, and acting as if your desire has already come true. It's like method acting, but for your whole life. If you want to be a successful business owner, you start thinking and acting like a successful business owner now. If you want a loving relationship, you start feeling and behaving as if you're already in that relationship. This might sound a bit strange at first. After all, how can you act like something's true when it isn't yet? But that's exactly the point. Goddard taught that by living as if your desire is already true, you create the conditions for it to become true. Here's an example of how this might work. Let's say you want to become a published author. Living from the end would mean thinking and acting as if you're already a successful author. You might set up a writing schedule like a professional author would. You might start networking with other writers or going to literary events. You might even practice signing books or imagine giving interviews about your work. The key is to really embody the feeling of being that successful author. How would you carry yourself? How would you talk about your work? How would you approach your daily writing? By living as if you're already there, you start to develop the habits, mindset, and even the opportunities that can lead to actually becoming a published author. This is different from regular goal setting in a few important ways. With typical goal setting, you're always looking forward to something in the future. You're in a state of wanting or needing something you don't have. But with living from the end, you're coming from a place of already having what you want. This shift in perspective can be incredibly powerful. When you live from the end, you're not desperately chasing after something. Instead, you're aligning yourself with the reality you want to create. This can help you feel more confident and relaxed, which often leads to better decisions and actions. It also helps you notice opportunities that align with your goal, opportunities you might have missed if you were too focused on the fact that you hadn't achieved your goal yet. Living from the end isn't always easy. It takes practice and persistence. You might feel silly at first or like you're just pretending. But Goddard encouraged people to keep at it. The more you practice living from the end, the more natural it becomes. And as it becomes more natural, it starts to shape your real-life experiences more and more. The third key technique in Goddard's teachings is called revision. This is a powerful tool for dealing with past events that still bother you or seem to be holding you back. It's like editing the story of your life to create a better future. Here's how the revision technique works. At the end of each day, or when dealing with a specific memory that's troubling you, you use your imagination to recreate the event the way you wish it had happened. You're not denying what actually occurred, but you're choosing to focus on and imagine a better version of events. Choose an event you want to revise. It could be something that happened today or a memory from the past. Close your eyes and relax. Imagine you're watching a movie of the event. Now, change the movie. Imagine the event happening the way you wish it had. Make it as vivid and detailed as possible. Feel the emotions you would feel if this new version were true. Really let yourself experience it. Repeat this revised version a few times in your mind, always feeling it as real. The idea behind revision is that by changing your memory of an event, you change how that event affects you going forward. It's not about denying reality, but about choosing which aspects of reality you want to give power to in your life. Here's a simple example. Let's say you had a disagreement with a friend. Instead of replaying the argument in your mind, which might make you feel angry or sad, you could use revision. Imagine the conversation going well, with both of you understanding each other and ending on a positive note. Feel the relief and happiness of this revised version. By doing this, you're not changing what actually happened, but you are changing how you feel about it. This can affect how you interact with that friend in the future, potentially leading to better conversations and a stronger friendship. Goddard taught that revision can be used for big and small events alike. You can revise a small interaction that left you feeling upset, or you can revise major life events that you feel have held you back. The key is to do it with feeling, really experiencing the revised version as if it were true. This technique might seem a bit strange at first. After all, we're often taught that we should accept things as they are and not try to change the past. But Goddard's point wasn't about denying reality. It was about understanding that our memories and the meaning we give to past events shape our present and future. By consciously choosing to focus on more positive versions of events, we can change how those events affect us going forward. Revision is a powerful tool because it helps you let go of negative emotions and limiting beliefs tied to past events. It can help you feel more positive and confident, which in turn can lead to better experiences in the present and future. It's like giving yourself a fresh start, not by changing the external facts, but by changing your internal experience of those facts. Common mistakes to avoid. As powerful as Goddard's teachings are, it's easy to misunderstand or misapply them. Let's look at some common mistakes people make when trying to use these techniques and how to avoid them. One big misunderstanding is thinking that Goddard's methods are about forcing things to happen through sheer willpower. Some people try to imagine what they want so hard that they end up stressed and frustrated when it doesn't appear instantly. But that's not what Goddard taught. He emphasized relaxation and naturalness. The idea is to imagine and feel your desire as if it's already true, not to strain and struggle to make it happen. To correct this mistake, remember that the goal is to feel natural and relaxed in your imagining. It's more like slipping into a daydream than forcing yourself to concentrate. If you find yourself getting tense or frustrated, take a step back, relax, and approach your imagining with a sense of play and ease. Another common error is getting too focused on the specific details of how your desire will come about. For example, if you're imagining a new job, you might get caught up in picturing exactly how you'll get the job offer, who will give it to you, and when it will happen. But Goddard taught that it's better to focus on the end result, having the job, rather than the means by which you'll get there. To avoid this mistake, practice imagining the fulfilled desire without worrying about the how. Feel the satisfaction of already having what you want and let the details of how it comes about take care of themselves. This allows for possibilities you might not have considered and keeps you open to unexpected opportunities. A third mistake is giving up too soon. Some people try these techniques for a few days or weeks, don't see immediate results, and decide they don't work. But changing deep-seated beliefs and habits takes time. Goddard often emphasized the importance of persistence and patience. To correct this, remind yourself that you're not just trying to make something specific happen, you're learning a new way of thinking and being. Give yourself time to practice and improve. Don't judge your progress by external results alone. Notice how your thoughts and feelings are changing, even if your circumstances haven't yet. Now that we've explored the key aspects of Goddard's teachings, let's look at how they all work together to create change in your life. At the core of everything is the idea that your imagination creates reality. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about using your imagination in a focused, deliberate way to shape your beliefs and expectations. When you change these internal factors, you change how you interact with the world, which in turn changes what you experience. The technique of feeling it real is your primary tool for doing this. By imagining what you want with vivid detail and genuine emotion, you start to convince your subconscious mind that it's real. This shifts your beliefs and expectations at a deep level. Living from the end takes this a step further. Instead of just imagining your desire for a few minutes a day, you carry that feeling with you throughout your daily life. You think, feel, and act as if your desire is already true. This aligns your entire being with your goal, opening you up to opportunities and insights you might otherwise miss. The revision technique gives you a way to deal with past events that seem to contradict what you want. By reimagining these events in a more positive light, you remove mental and emotional blocks that might be holding you back. All of these techniques work together to create a new mental and emotional state. In this state, you're more confident, more open to opportunities, and more aligned with your desires. This doesn't mean everything will magically fall into place overnight, but it does mean you're creating the best possible conditions for your desires to manifest. It's important to start small and build up. Begin with something that feels achievable, but still meaningful to you. As you practice and see results, you can apply these techniques to bigger goals. Remember, the aim isn't just to get specific things. It's to develop a new way of interacting with reality itself. Neville Goddard's teachings offer a powerful approach to creating change in your life. By understanding the connection between imagination and reality, and by using techniques like feeling it real, living from the end, and revision, you can start to shape your experiences in profound ways. Remember, this isn't about magical thinking or denying reality. It's about understanding the deep connection between your inner world and your outer experiences. It's about using your imagination deliberately and effectively to create positive change. As you explore these ideas, be patient with yourself. Like any skill, using your imagination effectively takes practice. You might not see dramatic results overnight, but with consistent effort, you're likely to notice positive changes in how you think, feel, and interact with the world. The real power of Goddard's teachings lies not just in achieving specific goals, but in transforming your entire approach to life. As you practice these techniques, you may find yourself becoming more positive, more confident, and more open to possibilities you never considered before. So why not give it a try? Pick a small goal and start imagining it as if it's already happened. Feel the emotions, live as if it's true, and see what changes. You might be surprised at the power of your own imagination to shape your reality. Remember, in Goddard's words, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Your imagination is a powerful tool. Use it wisely and watch your world transform.